Hello everyone, welcome back to Mo's World. I'm Mo, and we're just gonna get right into this video. I don't want it to be super long. Alright, so you can tell by the title of this video what we're getting into. If you have not watched my previous story time video, where I really go into detail about the initial reaction of being told my locks were not sister locks, all of that jazz, please check the description box below. Please watch that video first before watching this one, because it will not have all those details in here and you may be pretty lost in knowing what I'm talking about. So you have been warned. Alright, so first of all, I also want to thank you all for all the love and just encouragement and advice that I was given on the previous, that story time, that previous video. It really did help me through a very difficult process, difficult situation. So thank you to all of you. If you don't think you're doing something big in, you know, my life or other people's lives that are making videos, I'm here to say that's not the case. You are definitely helpful. So anyways, I told you all that I was going to email my previous Sisterlocks consultant and just really talk through the situation. So I did that. When I emailed her, I told her what my current Sisterlocks consultant said about my hair not being Sisterlocks, small interlocks due to the sizing of my locks, and then to the number of locks I have. So if you do not know, I have 267 locks. I also let her know that I'm pretty sure it was an honest mistake on her part. I'm just reaching out so she won't make this mistake again on other clients, and that I'm not seeking any type of retribution. She responded back very quickly. My email was way more detailed than what I'm telling you, but I'm telling you a synopsis because we ain't got time for all of that. Very detailed, but then at the same time, like not in a hostile manner, like at all. She responded very quickly. She said, I'm so sorry to hear that you're going through all of this. I'm not quite sure who you talked to, but I don't know why they're saying that, but you do in fact have Sisterlocks. And then she was like, I would like to talk. So before I was like, I'm good, I've moved on, my locks are flourishing, I'm squared away, there's no need to go back to the past. But after having a very good conversation with hubby, he brought up some really good wisdom, and he was like, you know, you gave your new Sisterlocks consultant time to express her opinion and her thoughts. You owe your previous consultant the same thing, you know. And I was like, you know what, you're right. You're right. So that's what I did. I reached back out to her via email and said, hey, would love to talk. What time works best for you? She gave me a time, and then I called her. So I took notes from our conversation, so I'd make sure I wouldn't forget everything because this has been a while. But I wanted to document this because I knew at some point I would make this video. So the first part is she documented all the notes from our consultation, and her main notes were I had excessive split ends, flaky scalp, and my last relaxer was in 2011. All those are true. The flaky scalp has gotten better, but I think that's just something I deal with. I'm not going to a dermatologist. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's not like crazy, like, you know what. Anyways, I'm not going to go into detail with that. The excessive split ends, I think that's a pet peeve of mine, or not a pet peeve of mine. It's one of the issues I have when looking at how things went down with the previous consultant. I asked her during our consultation, did I need to trim my ends? Because I know it had been years. I was a loose natural. It had been years since I had gotten a trim. And I'm lazy and I don't care to go through that process. So, and I'm frugal because I'm like, why do I care? It's always in this curly state. I don't care to straighten it and go through that process. So I asked her, I mean, it's gonna lock. Like, why do I need to trim it? And she said, no, girl, you're good. Well, for you to put in your notes that I have excessive split ends, that would have been nice that you told me. It was enough of a reason to document it. So it would have been nice if you told me, if she told me that, you know, yeah, you have excessive split ends. It may help the locking process if you go ahead and trim that. I would have loved that. I actually asked her the question, should I trim my hair? You know, anyways, that was one thing where it's like, dag, you actually wrote in your notes and you didn't tell me that. Also, she keeps really detailed notes, which is super cool. Like, one thing I will say about her, she's super professional and super organized, which is super cool. She keeps notes on every client and keeps a strand of hair for reference to compare to her guide for sizing and locking pattern. So she had still a strand of mine in her documents. We kind of talked through that. So we first talked about the locking pattern. She had me for reverse 4 for the entire way. My consultant now has me for a pattern 3. I asked her, why didn't you have me for a pattern 3? She said, I documented it. She put a locking pattern 3 in my hair as one of my tester locks. She gave me 5 tester locks right back here in this lower quadrant. And she said the pattern 3 did not hold up for the month. So, which makes sense. One, down here is a definitely different hair texture than the rest of my head. If there was going to be slippage, it was definitely going to be back there. And then 2, I was super rough with my tester locks. I honestly forgot they were there. And so when I would wash my hair, I washed it like my loose natural hair, and I was rough. So anyways, fast forwarding from that, I understand why she started my hair off with reverse 4. Reverse 4 stood in the longest. It made the most sense from the tester locks. I totally understand why she did my entire head and my establishment and a reverse 4 pattern. My issue is I don't see why she stayed with reverse 4 for the 1.5 years I was with her. At a certain point, I would say a few months in, I would have imagined that she would have switched over to a pattern 3, because the reverse 4 was literally sucking the life out of my locks. It was restricting any of the swelling process that comes with the locking process. So in essence, it has slowed down my locking process. So yeah, that was one of my things. She gave me reverse 4 because that's definitely for people who have a particular curl pattern that's prone to slippage, and that makes sense because especially where she put the tester locks. Totally get that. I don't think that's an issue. I just think that she should have switched over to a pattern 3 at some point. Now let's go. Oh, I also asked her, can you switch? So to make sure, I'm like, hey, so I understand, can you switch from one pattern to another pattern? Even though you had it established in one pattern. And she said, yes, it all depends on the hair type. So that lets me know that I think if she was a more experienced consultant, she would have saw that, okay, reverse 4, we should be done with this now. Now let's go to a pattern 3. All right, second point, locks. This is the thing I think got me the most when she told me about this. She told me that she was trained, of course, by a Sisterlocks trainer, because she is, in fact, a certified Sisterlocks consultant that's on the Sisterlocks webpage, that she received a guide from her, and she also received the information or knowledge that Sisterlocks are an average minimum of 300 locks. And that's in an ideal, perfect world if the hair is extremely healthy, no split ends, and thicker hair and all that jazz. 300, an average minimum of 300 locks. I go to the Sisterlocks webpage and it says an average of 400 locks. I don't understand the disconnect. I don't know. I think that's troubling to hear. So from her experience, from her training, from her Sisterlocks training, what I have are very much so Sisterlocks. So she said that, you know, depending on the number, it's an average minimum of 300, but depending on The state of the hair, you want it to make sure that the locks are more stable so they're not brittle and they don't fall off as time goes on and they're maturing. You want to make sure they have a strong base to lock from. So that's in essence why I have less than 300 locks. All that being said, I feel like the conversation was really good. It was very insightful. She was extremely comforting, super open, great dialogue. Let me know that I could come to her anytime if I had any more questions, whatever it may be, even though she's no longer my consultant. I think that was a beautiful thing. And wrap up. I think so many people come up here who are Sisterlocks consultants or trainees and give their 2 cents about how if you're going to be a client, you need to not bash the Sisterlocks brand, or you need to do your own research, or blah, 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 blah. I agree. Hands down agree. But at the end of the day, in the same breath, it's like, okay, I don't usually see clients up here giving the Sisterlocks consultants and trainees or prospective people going into the field any feedback or advice. So I'm going to. My biggest thing is, one, make sure that you are receiving the training that you need. The differences between both the consultants. One, my previous consultant, she got trained and that was that. She did everything she needed to do to be a Sisterlocks consultant, and she, I don't want to say did the bare minimum, but she did what she needed to do. She checked all the boxes and she squared away to be on their website. My current one goes over and beyond. She goes to multiple trainings in a year. She goes to any of the meetups. She wants all the most updated information possible. I would encourage you, if this is going to be your thing, whether it's a side hustle or your main gig, shouldn't matter. You really do need to make sure that you're getting all the proper training, and not just the bare minimum, but going over and beyond, making sure that you have the information to not only provide the best product for your client, but to also educate them in the best way. You are the subject matter expert. The client is not. And so you should not expect the client to come with all these answers. You should expect them to come with a bunch of questions, and you should be able to answer those questions. And if you can't, you should know where to get the answers to answer their question. That's one. Two, know that a client is coming into your chairs not just about them spending a bunch of money, but it's also about you caring for their crown and glory. You are, in essence, opening your life to them, and they're opening their life to you. Whether you signed up for it or not, that's what happens. You end up getting on a schedule. You meet people anywhere between every 4 to 8 weeks. You're going to get close. You're going to form a bond. You're going to form a relationship. And saying that, it is just important to be organized, be professional, and really do strive for excellence in your work, because it's not just the business for you, but it's also knowing that every client coming into your chair is going to get the best service possible and something that they can be proud of, and it's worth the money. So those are my 2 cents. I hope that this has been helpful for somebody out there, educational, whatever it may be. Please comment below. How many locks do you have? 1. And then 2, how do you maintain your locks? Do you go to a certified consultant? Do you go to a loctician that's not on the website? Do you go to your auntie, your mama? Are you a DIYer? Do you do it yourself? Let me know. I'm interested in finding out. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section below. Also, check me out on Instagram. I definitely post more on Instagram than I do on YouTube, so it should be somewhere on the bottom of this screen where my screen name is. So anyways, I hope this video finds you blessed as always, and take care. Till next time. Bye.